You can find this course on schooldesign.net. Join on Facebook website and group. The full course you can watch on Udemy. So this is how my models looks with all the texture that I applied. So let's start with the ground 1 with the sand. So this is ground 047 with the following settings. The next ground is ground 041. The water, I added some wave height, wave scale, reflectivity. I also thought about adding the foam because this could be really a nice effect. Unfortunately, if you will add the foam will appear on each edge, so this is not what we'd like to get, because this look very fake. So this is quite problematic with the foam, but there is some solution for that. So for example, and first of all, you need to add the clip plane. So I will just go back to build mode. So we'll go from the texture, exit library. Okay, and in the place editor, in the utilities, there is the clip plane. So I will put the clip plane maybe somewhere here. I will rotate it, and next we will select the water, and with the materials, now you can see that we can add the foam, and the foam is only in the one edge. So this is a quite nice trick. Unfortunately, as you can see, the side of the ground is empty and this look very fake. So what we can do right now from the clip plane, from the settings, we need to select that the clip planes will be only for one layer for the water. So it means that also you need to place the water on the separately layer. Sometimes this could be useful, sometimes no, it depends what we need. Okay, so now the rest of the pole with the wood 003, floor 1 with polywood planks warm 20, the floor 2 with polywood planks 24, the pole also with the wood 003, and the top, the roof, is with warm white fur. To get this result, first of all, you need to set the gravity force to the maximum. So thanks to that, everything's go down, as you can see, like this, and this is really nice, and this will give you really cool effect. Then bending force, first size 0.3 for length scale, velvet scale, and the roughness 0.1. Okay, so this is how the models look with the texture. Now we will add some objects. So first of all, I just add the grass. This is the first grass that is lying inside the water. So this will give you a nice effect. Then there is the second grass on the sand. Of course, as you can see, some of the grass is in the they are flying, but this is not the problem on the final render. It won't be visible. Then what we have more here, there is a dome. The dome is the white background. Then we have the next layer, the rock. So I place a lot of rocks on the seaside, and I also place the next rock under the house. So this is also give really nice looking render. What is the next thing? Then we have the tree. Then I place some tree from the standard library, but of course it is better to put from the fine detail nature library because the render camera will be zoomed very close. Unfortunately, I didn't find anything useful from the high detail library, so I put those one from the standard. And of course the people, and remember to put the people always with the from the side or from the back, because from the front they have very fake face and this will look very unrealistic. So this is how you can build this model, and this is how it looks. I also put some elements inside, so just small islands you can do very fast with Lumion. So right now with the FX, we'll focus with the FX. So traditional, we will start from the real skies because this is one of the most important. So I select these skies with the heading 33.7 of brightness, overall brightness. The next is the sun because I also added the sun with sun height 2.2 180 degree. The next is the sharpen. The sharpen you can increase a little bit, something to 0.1. This value should be okay. Next one, you have exposure to 0.6. Color correction 0.1 for temperature, tint 0.1, 0.9, 0.4. Contrast to maximum because I wanted to have very high contrast. Saturation, gamma correction, and some limit low and limit high. As usually, I always add it. Then we have the reflection, only two planes for the water and for the floor one. So there is not much to do with the reflection. Hyperlight with amount 50%. Skylight 1.0, 1.0 for both. The shadows range for 43. Coloring to max, brightness, omni, standard, and shadow correction to 0. The next chromatic aberration with some little very low value. And now what we have more, the fog. I added the fog because I wanted to cover the backgrounds to not be so white. As you can see in the FX, there is no 2-point perspective. This is very important. For the fog density 1.3, 0.7 for fallout, and for brightness also. A volumetric sunlight 2.7 for sun and for cover. Analog color, I set the 0.1 templates with the cover 0.6, and this is how it's our render will look like. Very fast and very easy to build. In the next lessons there will be topics about creating the animations, how to animate everything, how to edit animated phasing, draw from the sky, and so on and so on. So see you to the next lesson. In this part we are gonna to add animation. So if we have already applied FX, we will just copy it. We'll go to the movie record, add a keyframe. I will increase to 8 seconds animation, and we can paste the effects from the photo. So edit and paste effects. Okay, so we are done with the effects. So now we can add the animation and animated phasing. So the first thing that we need to do is to add the first animation phasing. So the first one will be sky drop. Start time, duration all the time for 2 seconds. Easy in to maximum, and we will select the first object is the ground 1. So this is the sand. And this is how it looks like. And for the next few animation layers we need to do the same, but each time we need to select different objects. So the same 2 seconds, easy in object, this time the ground 2. So this is very important, as you can see, to add the correct name for each object, for each layers, because later it will be easier for you to identify which one you should select. Okay, so we have the ground 2, 3, the water, all the time duration 2 seconds, and the next phasing animation, and this time for the first pole. So we need to, with the keyboard, we need to select the correct one, or we can select it from the build option. Duration 2 seconds, sky drop, and we have the pole. Unfortunately, in SketchUp we have all the poles saved as a one component. This is why we cannot use the stagger. If you would like to use the stagger, you need to save each pole as a separate file. So as you can see, it will be something about 15 files to import to the Lumion. Sometimes this could be problematic and very time consumption. So this time I collect everything as one. So the next duration 2 seconds, as usually, easy in to maximum, and the floor 1. So we apply it. Also the sky drop, and the next object, so the next phasing animation object, this time the horizontal pole, the same sky drop, easy in, maximum 2 seconds. Okay, so it's look nice, and this time the vertical pole, the same 2 seconds, easy in for smooth drop. The floor 2 right now, and the next those pole which are vertical, the same sky drop, duration 2 seconds, easy in. So as you can see, it's a lot of work to do with the animation, especially if you have a lot of different objects and you want to animate each of them. So duration for 2 seconds, as usual. Object, this time the top floor. So we need to increase the total length for animation because 8 seconds is not enough. So I increase it to 15. And let's go to the second page. Let's zoom in. Oh, and we need to apply the material for the top floor because the material is missing. So the animations look nice. Of course, still problem with the material, so we need to go back to the build options, apply the material, and we need to go back again to the animation. And the second page. Okay, so we have the top floor animated. So now the house is almost built, so now it's time for the grass. So again, additional phasing animation layer. We need to move it to the timelight slider, and now we can select the grass from the nature. With the control we can select everything, and of course I just remove the tree. So this one I have to remove, and the last one. Okay, and now we have the animation only for the grass, and the grass, of course, we will change the animation type to ground rise, and of course duration 2 seconds, easy in. so it look nice. Okay, the next animation. So for the next animation we will just add the tree. Here we need to select the stacker in order of selection, so it means that the first tree selected will start to drop as a first. So sky drop duration for 2 seconds, and right now easy in, and the stagger of course will need to increase. So right now, as you can see, the trees go down y by 1, and the next animation, the last one, will be for all the people and the dog. So I just select the people category, and of course I also need to select indoor outdoor elements. So indoor, this time outdoor. I select all of them, I accept and hit OK. They will also sky drop. So sky dropped, so they will fall from the sky at the end, and 2 seconds for time, easy in. So as you can see, it's look quite nice. And for example, as you can see, I have some type of grass that is inside the water, and I would like to animate it separately. So the only one solution for do this is goes to the layers with the animation for the grass. So this one, I need to edit object, and first of all I need to deselect the grass from the water. So as you will probably notice, this is very hard or almost impossible. So we need to do it with some tricks. So the first thing, as you can see, it is impossible to zoom in to select all of those separately. So here we will need to use the layers, and in the build mode we should have all the types of elements separately in different layers. So now I can disable some layers and I can only work for some objects individually. Okay, the problem is that right now I cannot deselect anything, so I need to turn on everything again, mostly all the layers with the nature. And then I select everything and I remove it from the selection. So now we have 0 elements selected. This time I can disable all the layers that are not necessary right now, so only the grass will stay. And I will select the first type of grass, and I will add it to the animation, and we will accept it. Okay, so right now you can see this animation is only for the one type of grass. Then we can add another animation layers and move it up with those arrows. And in this animation layer, I will just switch the layer visibility. So the grass 2 will be hide, and I turn on the grass 1, so those one from the water. I select it, accept, add to animation, hit OK, and I will add sky drop right now. Duration 2 seconds, easy in, of course. And as you can see, this is how it looks like. Of course, the ground is hidden. Sometimes you need to enter again to the animation layers, turn on, turn off some layers to make it visible again. Okay, and there is still one animation layers for the rocks. So I will also add it. I'll just increase the duration and easy in for the grass because it was missing. Okay, so next we'll add the rocks. So add animation facing, move it up. I need to enter it and deselect all the layers. Only the rock will be visible in the build mode. I select all of them, click add it to animation. Ground rise for this type of element, duration 2 seconds, easy in. And this is how it's look with the final results. Remember always to make all the layer visible. So now, as you can see, this is how the animation look like. Water, the pole, the first floor, second floor, the vertical, horizontal pole, and the people at the end. Right now we need to adjust some of the layers. For example, for the pole, as you can see, there was easy in missing. So we have the floor, all those next pole. Here I see that the animation took quite long, so I will just move it on the timeline. Because you need to switch between the page 1 to 3, so sometimes this could be quite hard to adjust anything. For the second type of grass, those one from the water, probably I will change from skydrop to ground rise again. So this look much better. And I will adjust the animation for the people, and they will appear after all the trees will hit the ground. And one thing, there is quite problem with the dog because he's running at one place, so I will just remove it because it will be better to add some animation for the dog, but right now I would rather to skip it. Okay, so this is how the final animation looks. Of course, as you remember, behind we have those elements that was used to align everything, but it is visible in the animation. So what we can do is to add the invisible material for all those elements. So one more time, hold the visualization. Looks really nice and smooth. But those elements from the back, we need to remove it, so we'll go back and we'll apply the invisible material for each of them. As you can remember, we have probably 9 elements, so all of them should have the same invisible material. I will increase the total length to 20 seconds. Yes, and this is how it's look. So let's play it, and it's look fantastic. Okay, animation, house, the grass, trees, and the people at the end, and we have some 5 seconds to see how the islands and how the water goes. And at the end we can just make some adjustments with the layers, so maybe we can move some of them to the left, to the right. It depends. This is the time that you can adjust everything. It is impossible to select a few layers at the same time right now, so we need to sometimes adjust everything one by one. Okay, so I will increase the speed. Yep, and this is our final result. So as you can see, create the animation in the Lumion is quite easy and nice, and there is missing some features, like for example adjust all the layers to some seconds, but of course this is not the Premiere Pro or After Effects. Maybe in the future they will be more options. Right now we need to do a lot of clicks, a lot of adjustments to have the really nice results. So the animations is quite easy, but need a lot of practice. So this is how you can create the animation in the Lumion. Right now you need to only render everything. You must remember that rendering will take a lot of time because we need to render a lot of frames, but the final effects is quite nice. Sometimes maybe it will be necessary to adjust some visual effects because there could be some difference between the photo and the animation, because animations is with some kind of codecs. Okay, so this was everything about the animation.